Hi, and welcome to the Art of Ramos. I'm your host and artist, William Ramos, and today I'm going to show you my process of how I created this digital painting of Darth Maul, one of the coolest characters to come out of the Star Wars universe, and probably the only cool thing to come out of the prequels. Anyways, I'm so excited to bring you this video because it's been a long time in the making, and I have a problem finishing things. And the fact that you're watching this video now is proof that I've actually finished one thing. You see, not too long ago, I was diagnosed with ADHD. And, to me, that was a blessing because now I had a name to why I was not finishing things and sometimes not starting things. And for the longest time, I thought I was a loser. Why could I not do the things that everyone else can do so easily? Other people have come to me and said, oh, you just don't want it bad enough. And, that's the problem with ADHD. I want it more than anything. To get my art out there, to start this whole process of love with art. But my brain was just sabotaging my own efforts, and it was frustrating. Now that I had this diagnosis, I could sit there and study this, learn about this disorder, and learn more about myself. And you can't ever solve a problem unless you know what the problem is. And so now I was studying it, learning about myself, and I found that you had to take things one step at a time. Instead of trying to do one big project, you have to break it down into little tiny chunks and worry only about that chunk with the obvious end goal in mind. And just like that freaking dog from Up, we're always yelling, squirrel, and always getting distracted. And that's one thing, just like in meditation, you have to bring your mind back to your goal. If it's not helping you get to your goal, then you got to let it go for now and work on that one little segment. Then you complete that one little segment, move on to the next, and then the next, and eventually you get the whole thing done. It's amazing. And a little caveat or a little rebuttal that you might be thinking too, that because I've been thinking about it for a long time too, is that what if I want to do all these other things that the squirrel is telling me or showing me? And I understand. Trust me, after 41 years of living, I understand. And I want to do all those things. I play guitar, I play piano, I draw, animate, I sing. Yes, but for the most part, you're not going to get anything done if you just dabble. Remember, you have to have the goal in mind. One thing I'm trying that I've learned from someone else is that you can do a couple of things because not all the time we're going to have a desire to do that one thing at that moment. The next day we want to do something else completely new, and everyone around us gets frustrated because they're like, well, just stick to something. That's not us. We like everything. And it's okay. But remember the goal in mind. Dabbling is not going to get you anywhere. You have to pursue in a few things, not just dabble. I found that 2, maybe 3 things that I can do. I'm learning production in Ableton Live. I'm learning how to edit these videos. I'm drawing these videos, and I'm playing guitar in my spare time. That's a few things. I don't want to go too much beyond that, but they're little chunks that I'm tackling, little chunks that are getting me closer to the goal. I want to play covers on YouTube. I want to show you my animations, show you the processes of my illustrations like this one, but there's only so many things I could do before I stretch myself too thin. So more than not, you should stick to one thing and try to do the little chunks. Yes, you can veer away from that every now and then, but come back to that one. So that way you'll get one thing under your belt and then go to that next one. And yes, you can veer off from time to time, but on each thing that you're going to do, have a goal. And if that thing is not a chunk to get you to that goal, then you got to toss it aside and get back to the original goal. So stick to one thing, do it in little chunks. And if you want to do 2 things or 3 things, make sure those are little chunks too, that you have a goal that you want to get, that you've told yourself, I'm going to have this by the end. It can't be just, I just want to play around in animation. No, it's, I want to make an animation about this. And you learn the tools of the trade as you go. One thing I have a difficulty with is, I heard it on, I think it was YouTube or reading somewhere, and they said that you can be addicted to tutorials. And I found myself addicted to tutorials. You know, I don't know if it's just me. I think I've read it somewhere, but us ADHDers have an addictive personality. And I figured I needed to learn everything before I can start anything. And that is my problem of why I never get anything started. I think I have to be perfect before I start. And a lot of these YouTubers are talking about just start. You have to fail, and you have to fail forward, upwards. You know, you don't learn anything in life by being perfect. You don't learn anything in life by just observing. You learn a lot more from doing and failing. And then you go, oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to do this. And then guess what? You don't do it next time. And that's how you get better. Practice makes better, not perfect. And you can't be perfect until you practice, until you do it. And so that's why I'm here today, ranting, not even talking about my art. Hopefully you were just watching the process go, and it's been a great experience. And hopefully you'll learn something. Hopefully I've inspired you, and hopefully you had a good time that you'd come back and see my other pieces. Real quick, let me get back to the drawing for just a minute. You know, I've been ranting this whole time, and I promise I will explain more later in other videos, but I just wanted to real quick go over what I'm doing. I'm using Clip Studio Paint instead of Photoshop, which was my default before, and found this program. It was 75 bucks, real cheap and easy to use, very intuitive, very much like Photoshop, as you can see. But oh my God, it has raster and vector-based drawing capabilities. It's amazing for comic book artists that you can actually make the web pages of the comic book. It helps you do that. My process is really simple. I scanned this and I drew it already in a coffee shop somewhere, and I scanned it in, and now I'm just tracing it and making vector lines, and then I make the flat colors. And a lot of other people are doing this process as well. You make your flat colors, you leave that alone on another layer. You use you select those colors, and then you make another layer of highlights and shadows to more define the form, and that keeps everything separate, everything clean, and you can go back and edit if you make a mistake, and you don't have to go too much more than that. Like I said, I promise next time I will go into more depth on every little step that I'm doing. It's just, I got so excited to bring you my first video, and I had to tell you my process of how I got here, that I just had to give you that little rant. So hopefully I've inspired you a little, at least with watching my video, or maybe even listening to my ramblings of figuring out how to do this thing, my difficulties getting to this point. If you have ADHD like me, or you just find that it's hard to start or even finish things, hopefully this gives you a little bit of inspiration that, if I can do it, you can do it too, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you can find it. Remember, have a goal, break it into little chunks, and just worry about those little chunks. Get each one done, and in the end, you'll have something great completed. Remember, where there's a will, there's a way. I'm Will, and this is my way, Will's way. I hope you like my video. It's been great talking with you. I hope you like my art. Until next time, this is the Art of Ramos.